Hello there. This is Natural Fitness Lifestyle. Today I'm going to be talking about a very important topic. It's how to use your opposite muscles during an exercise. The, the term the term is more precisely named the antagonistic muscles. Basically, the muscles that are opposite the muscles involved in a specific exercise. So let's take the bicycle. Right? So most people would think bringing the forearm to the shoulder, the hand to the shoulder, that you only have to focus your attention on controlling the contraction of the biceps. But in reality, you also have to involve the triceps. Because guess what? What slows down your curl is the triceps. It also supports the elbow. You have to have support from both sides. There's a law in physics that states for every action there has to be an equal and opposite reaction. This law applies to all exercise, whether it's single joint or multi-joint. Let's take for example, the squat. As you descend, you involve the quadriceps, but you also must contract the hamstrings and the hip muscles in order to, otherwise you won't be able to control your descent in the squat. That's very important. Let's take the let's take the let's take a good one. Let's take the press. So the pressing up, most people will focus on the shoulder, but they also need to focus on the rear deltoid and the muscles in the traps too. And the muscles of the upper back, like the teres major muscles, because the teres major muscles and the rear deltoid help pull the elbow back, which is the opposite of the press. So this helps control the movement of the press. It helps stabilize and provides support and strength to your press. Hey, how you doing? How's everybody? What do you think about my friend back there? What do you think about the background? I kind of like it. I kind of like it myself. Anyway, so we're talking about too the importance of contracting the opposite muscles in an exercise, the antagonistic muscles. Let's take the chest. Pushing up, trying to focus on the pectorals, squeezing, contracting your pectorals. But you also have to contract your rhomboids and your lats, your upper back muscles. And that's so that you could slow down and you could have better support of the weight. Because when the weight comes back down, it's really the upper back muscles that are controlling the weight down. It's not just your triceps, and not just your chest, not just your shoulder. You don't want to overload the muscles of the chest, shoulder, and triceps. Therefore, you have to contract and control the muscles of the upper back as well. So this is very important in all exercise. Take the tricep. See, you're extending the elbow, right? But at the same time, you can also contract the bicep. That's to slow the movement of the elbow extension. If you don't slow that elbow extension, you can easily hyperextend the elbow and injure your elbow. Therefore, the biceps is also important. The biceps is also important in that tricep extension. In all exercise you do, you have to contract and involve the opposite muscle that you're working. Whether it's a bicep curl, you contract the tricep. Whether it's a tricep, you contract the bicep. Whether it's the chest, you contract the upper back, which is, whether it's the upper back, you also contract the chest. So this is, the antagonistic muscles are always involved in any exercise you do. If you push in a squat, you have to involve those hamstrings too, otherwise your knee can easily get out of position. Very important. Very important. Do you know a tennis elbow? Happens because a lot of people have weak rear forearms. So that's why it's important to do reverse wrist curls and not just wrist curls. Otherwise, you can easily hurt your elbow, because the wrist action has to be controlled from both sides. So you have to, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. If you push, you must use a pulling motion. You must contract the pulling muscles. If you're using the pulling muscles, you're also using the pushing muscles. So therefore, there's really no such thing as true isolation in exercise. Oh yeah, my audio's bad. Sorry. I got some kind of machine that takes the humidity out of the air. I hope you can hear me better now. Maybe I should do my live somewhere else, because that machine, the humidity machine, it just makes a lot of noise. So I'm talking about, if you have a push exercise, you have to also contract the pulling muscles. If you have a pulling exercise, you have to contract the pushing muscles. That's to stabilize the joint. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. In other words, whatever exercise you're doing, here goes you see that? That's the machine again. So whatever movement you're doing, you have to be conscious of contracting the muscles that perform the opposite of that movement. If it's a push, also control the pulling muscles. If it's an extension, like a tricep, also control the crawling muscles. If it is a squat, also control the leg curl muscles. If it's because the squat involves a lot of knee extension, and if you're doing a leg extension, you're also contracting your hamstrings to control the movement of the knee. Because if you don't control the speed of the knee movement, your knee can't get out of position. So I hope this kind of clears up. And if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comment section, please. You have a great night.